Alright, so this video is for my horror fans out there. It is getting to be spooky season. We're entering fall pretty soon. The pumpkin spice lattes are around, and I love fall, man. Give me the horror movies, give me the pumpkin spice lattes, give me the cool nights, give me the hoodie weather, give me the girls in slutty costumes. I'm all for it, man. My favorite time of year. And to kind of bring that season in, there is a horror movie out right now called Barbarian, which I already love the title of that movie because I'm like, what the fuck could that mean? Barbarian? That sounds awesome. And I've also heard from a lot of people to go into this movie blind and to not look anything up about it. Don't watch any reviews of it. Just go see it and make up your own mind. And I thought that is a fantastic idea to do for this season as well, because I can't tell you guys how much I love going to the theater just to begin with. I love going out to the movies. I know it's weird. I'm super antisocial. I'm an introvert, but for some reason I love movie theaters. It's my happy place. Anyways, I can't tell you how much I really truly enjoy going to a movie in the theater and having no idea what I'm about to watch. Like, not like Spider-Man No Way Home or something where I've seen the trailers and I pretty much can tell every single plot point beat by beat before it happens in the movie, but to literally go into a movie where the only thing I know about it is it's called Barbarian, it's a horror movie, and at some point, Justin Long is supposed to be in this movie. And dude, Justin Long's a scream king as far as I'm concerned. Jeepers Creepers, Drag Me to Hell, Tusk. I mean, he's a horror movie champion, right? In his own little way. So I was super stoked for this movie just because I really wanted to go in and just not know what to expect. And I can tell you that I didn't love this movie. I don't think it's a perfect movie. However, I will say that there's a ton about this movie I absolutely enjoyed, and a lot of it was going in blind and not knowing what was going to happen, because the suspense in this movie, it works. The intensity in this movie, it works. The questioning, wondering what's going to happen next, figuring things out. It doesn't spoon feed the audience. It gives you clues here and there. You sort of like unravel it as time goes along. There are scenes that take place in the present time. There's scenes that take place, maybe not so much there. And it sort of like all comes together throughout the course of the movie. So it's this journey where you're really like terrified of the potential of what's about to happen or what could happen or where the characters are. And then it slowly sort of like feeds you bits and pieces as time goes forward. So the only thing I will say about this movie, if you just want to know something, if you know nothing about it as well, but you want a little bit more to like actually, go leave your house and go to the theater to watch it, I completely understand. So the basic premise of this movie when it starts is this girl named Tess. She's going to Detroit, Michigan, and that's already scary enough, and she's staying at this Airbnb, but when she gets to her reservation, somebody else is already staying there, which is a man played by, what's the Skarsgård guy? The guy that played Pennywise from the It movies. So, so she shows up and Pennywise is there, so obviously that's a little bit creepy. And, they have a little bit of a discussion. They both booked the reservation. It was double booked. It's the middle of the night. It's raining, yada, yada. They decide that they're going to share the room, share the house. It's like a full house or whatever. And so things start to go a little bit strange. And there's a lot of things here that give you potential of things that could go wrong, and it adds to the intensity and the anxiety, especially within that first act, which I think is probably the best in the movie, because both characters, you could think go one way or the other. You could think that this guy is sort of creepy and that he planned this, or you could think that what is she doing here? You could think that he's a good dude. They have a little bit of chemistry, and then they're like, maybe they're having too much chemistry. Maybe something fishy is happening. And it's a really, 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 really great sequence, and I loved everything about it. And then some weird shit starts happening in the house, and I don't want to go any further than that, but some strange shit starts happening. And what I can also say is that I appreciate about this movie is that the characters are actually very intelligent. Now, horror movies in general get a lot of flack because they usually say characters are really stupid, they go into places that they shouldn't. And is there a scene in this movie where maybe one of the characters, against their better judgment, starts to go down into a creepy basement? Yes, but that's where the toilet paper was. So obviously she needed to go down there. No, what I will say is that this movie gives you a lot of reasons to understand why the characters are doing what they're doing. They give you a reason as to why somebody would go down into the creepy basement. They give you a reason as to, what like a civilized person would do in this situation. That this girl would be scared to show up and this random man is here. And the man doesn't seem like physically threatening or anything, but she's in an area she doesn't know anybody. And there's scenes where like they're sharing, drinks together, but then it's like she doesn't want to drink it because what if, he did something to it? And so there's a lot of little things like that I think are very intelligent for the characters and show their intelligence from the get-go, so that when the horror stuff starts happening, you have a little bit more understanding of what they're doing and why they're doing it. So I think that that was very impressive about it. Other than that, because I don't want to spoil anything, I'll go into spoilers at the end of this video, and I'll warn you, because I do want to talk about a few things in this movie. But going into it without anything, I will say that if you're looking for a good horror movie that will definitely have you on the edge of your seat, that will make you question and wonder things, that will actually help you use your brain a little bit while you watch a movie, yeah, I think that there's a lot of intensity here. There's good horror here. There's good build up. There's good setup. There's good anxiety. Not a lot of jump scares. Maybe like 2 or 3. Every horror movie has at least one jump scare in it, but it doesn't rely on that. It relies a little bit more on the anticipation of what's about to happen or what could happen. And I think that that's where this movie thrives, is in that you don't know what is going on, and that is the best place to be within this movie. So I would say if you're a horror movie fan, definitely give it a shot. Also, if you're just a fan of more lower budget movies, we have a lot of oversaturation with, and I'm a fan of superhero movies and stuff, right? I love that stuff, but at the same time, I want more movies like this. I want more movies to take a risk. I want more movies to do something weird, do something edgy, do something strange, do something that you don't normally see in the theater. So it's not just a sequel and not just a superhero movie and not just a Star Wars movie or something like that. It's something that's very specific, unique. It has a vision, it has a direction, it has an artistic flair to it. That's kind of what I want to see more of. So I think if you are choosing to go out and watch a movie, this would be a good one to spend your money on, because it gives more incentive for more movies like this to be made. So yeah, I love it, guys. I don't have a rating system on my channel or anything, but I'd probably give it a solid 8 out of 10. And other than that, I'm going to talk about spoilers for the rest of the video. So go ahead, give it a like, give it a comment, tell me if you're excited about it, and then after you see the movie, come back to this video. So that's it. Love you guys, and we'll see you later. Now, for those of you that have watched the movie or just don't care about spoilers, I will tell you that this movie is in 3 separate acts, right? And the first act, I think, is a 10 out of 10. The second act, I think, goes down a little bit, but it's still really good. This is where Justin Long gets introduced, and I fucking love this guy, man. I've loved Justin Long ever since, Accepted back in the day. And then in the final act of the movie, I honestly think the movie falls apart a little bit once you realize everything that's going on. I think the build up to trying to figure out what's going on in the basement, you go further, there's weird bloody mattresses, there's video cameras, there's cages, and then at the end of the first act, where you see the creature, which I'm assuming is the Barbarian, which is just a human inbred that's been grown up and raised, within these underground corridors that this serial killer has had for decades and has literally lived underground since the 1990s, which is crazy, man. So that's the spoiler. So if you stayed for the spoiler, I just ruined the movie for you. But when that thing is revealed for the first time and just smashes the fuck out of Skarsgård's head, that was the scariest moment in the movie for me. That was fucking terrifying. Her going down the corridors of the darkness, in the caves and the caverns underneath the house. That was so fucking scary. I was on the edge of my seat, and I thought it was the perfect sort of climax to that first act. And that first act is so perfect. And then the second act with Justin Long, I enjoyed. I like what they were doing with his character. They gave you as the audience a chance to wonder, is this guy actually a good guy that, someone is accusing him of doing what he did? Is he a good guy that made a mistake? Is he a really bad guy that's trying to, try to make up for, the horrible things that he's done? And you don't really know at first. And then, the more he starts to talk and the more he starts to reveal things about himself, and especially at the end of the movie, you realize that he really is a gigantic piece of shit. Which is always funny to have, a piece of shit character in the movie to be am I rooting for this guy? I'm not rooting for this guy. So he was great, but I think that once the reveal was made and the ending scenes, I was a little bit let down by the end of the movie. I'll be honest with you guys, because I wasn't sure what they were going for. Like I said, I didn't know if this was going to be a supernatural type movie, a ghost movie. I didn't know what this was. So there's a creature down there, okay, and then you figure out it's a human. It's like, okay, you know, it's like The Descent, where that's just where they were grown and raised, and so that's what they are. It's like, that's cool. There's only one of them, and you find out, like, you know, the serial killer used to own this house, and he, like, had all these women down here that he would do, you know, horrible things, and he would breed with them and stuff, just like all kind of fucked up, ridiculous things. But all of that is off screen, so you don't get to actually see it. And there's a moment in the movie, you know, when you realize what, you know, the creature is, it's like, okay, all right, that's creepy, whatever. But once you, like, understood what she was, I don't think she became as scary. And then there's a scene in the movie where a guy's like, you know, he says this line that got me excited. And I think this might have been why I was let down by the end of the movie, because he says this line that's like, you know, she's not even the worst thing that's down there. And then at that point, I'm thinking, like, what the fuck else is down there? Like, if she's not the worst thing that's down there, what is? And then there's this moment where Justin Long's exploring a little bit further, and then there's, like, pull strings on the ceiling, and I'm just like, oh, where is he going? Like, and then he just finds the serial killer that's, like, this old man at this point, and nothing else really happens with that. And I was a little bit let down by that. I was expecting, like, a whole, like, you know, group of, like, you know, all of these people, not just one person, but like a whole group, like The Descent down there, you know what I'm saying? I was expecting that, or I was expecting some weird, like, giant, like, mutated creature, you know, from all of this years of inbreeding and torture and stuff like that. Like, what else is down there? But there wasn't really anything else. And so I think that line just kind of fucked me up, because I think because the whole movie you're wondering what's going to happen next. I think that line got me thinking, like, what could possibly be next? And there wasn't really anything that was next. And then when she got out and she was kind of, like, chasing them around the town, that's where it kind of lost me. That's where I felt like the horror kind of dissipated, and it became a little bit, I don't know, a little bit not what I was expecting, not what I was enjoying about it. So what I will say is that the first act and the second act I loved, especially the first act. I thought the tension, the build up, and I think the thing that works best is not knowing what's going on. But once you learn what's going on, I think that it just takes something a little bit away from it, and the third act just kind of fizzled out for me. So that's what I think about it. But overall, now, don't take that, you know, to say that I didn't like the movie. Overall, I really, really, really enjoyed the movie, and I would still give it a solid grade, and I would still absolutely recommend seeing it, because I think it is a journey from start to finish. I just was a little bit let down by the ending. But you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching this video. I do appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've seen the movie, and I'll talk to you next time.